White House. Concerns now that the House and or Senate could flip. Van Hipp, a former South Carolina GOP chairman, looking at the landscape. And that seems right now, Van, to be the worry. It's hard to prognosticate how the presidential election goes, but this latest uncertainty is what happens with the House and Senate. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump needs to realize that congressional endorsements don't really mean anything. If they did, Jeb Bush would be the nominee right now.
That's a very good point.
He needs to focus on his message, and it's a powerful message. But it's still an uphill battle for Democrats, Neil. They've got for the House, they've got to win 30 House seats. That's a mighty, mighty tall order. On the Senate side, most of the experts have said for some time that the Democrats would pick up 4 to 6 seats just because of the seats that are in play. But one thing that's pretty interesting, and I think gives Republicans some hope, if you had told me a few months ago that Evan Bayh would be the Democrat nominee in Indiana, I would have said that's a pickup for the Democrats. But right now, with this latest AP story that's come out, he's in a real fight for his political life. So that one seat could hold the balance for power in the Senate.
You know, who is getting the shorter end of the stick in this Ryan-Trump back and forth and battle? I know the establishment, for want of a better term, because they weren't all just establishment figures, were appalled by that tape when it came out last week. But what's done is done. It's 11 years old. He's your nominee. If it's shocking to you he used this language, then you haven't been listening to him too closely. Having said that, are they hurting themselves, or is Trump hurting himself by constantly going after them?
I think they're probably hurting each other. And if they take a look, I mean, look at the polls that are coming out now, Neil, that show beginning to show the impact of that debate on Sunday. We're seeing this race tighten again. Rasmussen has it a 4-point race again. And now the WikiLeaks stuff. This is, let me tell you, this confirms what Donald Trump has been saying about a rigged system. And I think right now, Neil, this is important. The majority of the American people, regardless of philosophy or party, want a government that has integrity. If Donald Trump would just say, look, I got flaws and I got imperfections, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give you a government that is open and honest. If he'll do that, he can win this race, because I believe that there are more people out there who still believe that President Harry Truman was right when he said, you can't get rich in politics unless you're a crook.
Did he say? I like that line. By the way, you mentioned Harry Truman. He and Ronald Reagan are the only candidates this past century who were trailing in the polls going into the final few weeks before the election and went on to win. I think Harry Truman was trailing by 5 points. Polls then were nothing like they are now back in 1948. And Ronald Reagan, of course, down by 6 points at this very point in 1980. What are the odds that Donald Trump can do that?
Hey, he should study Harry Truman and Ronald Reagan, 2 great presidents. And
now, there's a guy, by the way, who used salty language, but I digress.
Hey,
yes.
But he connected with regular people.
You're right.
He connected with the average Americans, the forgotten Americans. You know, the WikiLeaks that's come out now, Hillary and her folks don't like that phrase, everyday Americans. Donald Trump needs to remind people of that. He is for the forgotten Americans, and it's a powerful message. If he'll stay focused on that, who cares what some member of Congress is, who they're voting for or who they're endorsing? Stay focused on that message. It's a powerful message. We've got to keep this country safe. We need to bring jobs back home, and he will stand up to the elites and the establishment.
You know, I'll tell you one thing that makes this all go away, Van, is improving poll numbers for him. Then all the naysayers and all the second-guessers and all the, I'm not going to vote for him because he uses nasty language, all that will go away. If it doesn't, they stay away. We'll see what happens.
Defeat is an orphan, and victory has 1,000 fathers, right?
Yeah, thank you, John Kennedy.